Hello and welcome to the stock market analysis. I'm Steven. Today we'll be going to look at KLCI and some stocks, maybe Penta, Ekovest, IWCITY, Dayang, and about maybe 5 or 6 other stocks. But we'll start with the KLCI. Now in front of us we have the 60-minute chart of the KLCI. Today, it had a nasty drop. Yesterday, in my analysis on my website, I mentioned about this consolidation box, and if the KLCI drops below this box, there could be more weaknesses. And the sell-off was much more greater than I anticipated. This is actually a support area. This consolidation is a support area, but as you can see, the sell-off was so great. It sold off and then it reached this support area and one green bar appeared, but after that it quickly continued to sell off until the end of the period. Now I think that the KLCI tried to bounce back up a bit as it reached the lower end of this support, but eventually the sellers were so much in control that topping tail formed in the 60-minute chart. This tells us that the stocks open around here, try to climb up, and then went back down. The index is very, very weak at this moment. Now, one of the reasons why you should not be in the KLCI starting from here, in the past analysis I mentioned that the nice trending up for KLCI is over. Okay, when it dropped below the 60-minute 50 MA. And since the KLCI is below the 50 MA and below the 20 MA, there's a bearish cross here. It is very weak and it is very choppy going down, and one shouldn't be long the KLCI. And most stocks in the KLCI also you shouldn't be long because it's in a bearish 60-minute trend. The nice time was around here to here when there was a bullish cross. Now at this moment, the KLCI has dropped to an area of support. This could be a gap area support, gap support. And there are a few things that could happen. One is that the market is so weak, it continue to drop all the way here, or it could find support and bounce up a bit and try to find support here and maybe climb up slowly. But the situation is, in my opinion, is very, very weak, and I don't think you should be entering KLCI from the long side or most KLCI stocks because it's still below the 60-minute 20 MA, you see, and it's below the 60-minute 50 MA. What you want to do is at least wait for the KLCI to go back above the 20 MA before you do anything. Now, if the KLCI bounce up and trade sideways a bit, we could have a consolidation, and we'll see from there what he wants to do. Okay, just like this box here, there might be a consolidation box here, and if it breaks out of the box, it might go higher. If it breaks down, it could continue to go lower. But certainly now is not the time for you to be bullish about the KLCI short term. I've already touched about the KLCI from a daily chart point of view and a weekly chart point of view in my earlier analysis of the KLCI, so I won't be going into that. If you have time, do refer to the previous KLCI analysis. Now let's look at the Penta Master. Penta Master is one of the most talked about stock today. It gapped down. I don't know why it gapped down, maybe earnings or something. It has been a nice, very, very nice stock for quite a long time. You see, it found support at the 200 MA here, and from then we have the perfect condition for uptrending stock. You see, readers and viewers of my channel, The Stock Market, I tell them, try to find stocks that are above their 20 MA, above the 50 MA, and above the 200 MA. And if you have all these 3 MA rising, you see, at least here it is kind of not rising, just moving sideways, and here is going down, the 50 MA, the 20 MA is going down. When you have the 20 MA, 50 MA, 200 MA rising, right, it's a perfect condition for an uptrending stock, and you want to focus your time and energy on this kind of stocks, because in the mid-term and long term, right, the rising 200 MA points to long-term bullishness. The rising 50 MA points to mid-term bullishness, and the 20 MA points to short-term bullishness. But what is important is the 50 MA and 200 MA is pointing up, so it's mid-term bullish and long-term bullish. From here, the stock had a very, very nice uptrend. You can see it rose from around $2 to around $4.90, right? And when this stock is above the 50 MA, above the rising 200 MA, there are lots and lots of opportunities for you to go into this stock. For example, continuation pattern here is an ascending triangle. Can you see another ascending triangle? Yeah, with ascending triangles, you buy the breakout and you put a stop loss at the lower trend line. And here is another ascending triangle. You buy the breakout above the highs of the ascending triangle, you put a stop loss depending on how aggressive you are along this lower trend line. If you're aggressive, you can put a stop loss here. Less aggressive around here. If you're conservative, right at the low of the pattern, and it breaks out. And here is another breakout. You buy above the high and you put your stop loss along this trend line depending on how aggressive you are, and it rose quite a lot. Now there was a possibility of it forming an ascending triangle here, but in my analysis of the Penta Master stock on my website, I did mention that this is not a very clean and good ascending triangle, because the highs are it's not relatively same high. This one is higher, this one is a bit lower than, so it's not a very beautiful ascending triangle. And the fact is that when an ascending triangle, the third or fourth ascending triangle in an uptrend usually doesn't work that well, because everybody knows this stock already. It's become so popular. When the stock was around here, $2, everybody doesn't seem to know this stock. It's not popular at that moment. When it was here, yeah, maybe 30% of people know about it, and maybe here half of the people know about it. But when it reaches here, 90% people are excited about this stock. The public is generally excited about stocks when it goes up, not when it is down. So here are where the investors enter, smart traders enter here, smart traders enter here, and public will want to enter here. And today there's a big gap down. You can see the lows of it was at the top of this ascending triangle, right? The top of it is a support area. It gapped down, it went here, found support at the top of it, and then it went back up to this lower end of this ascending triangle. So what happens right now is that Penta Master is below this trend line, okay, which is not very good. It is below the 50 MA, which is not very good. And this entire area will be a resistance area for the stock, because quite a lot of people bought here, and then when it gapped down, they lost money. And so the possibility of this area becoming a resistance area is very high. It might go up, drift sideways a bit, and then go down, right? We do not know. But one thing good is that even though if it gapped down, it found support here and it rose back up here. So this stock still tells me that there is the buyers are still in control. There's still a possibility that it might continue to go higher, but right now it's not the time to enter or take any action because there is no nice continuation chart pattern. We just want to let it trade a while for some time before we look at this stock again. Now, the rising, one good thing about Penta is the rising 200 MA. The stock is still above the rising 200 MA, which tells us that long-term wise, right, as long as it stays above this area, this 370 area, long-term wise, there is still a high possibility that Penta Master will continue to go up and continue to make new highs. But now let's leave it for a moment, let it do its own stuff, and for those who want to trade, you be patient and wait for a clearer pattern to form. Now let me take a look at Dayang. Now Dayang is above the rising 50 MA, above the rising 200 MA, which tells us that this stock is bullish midterm. You should have bullish outlook on this stock for the midterm, bullish long term. But I'll just take a look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart, base here had a stage through uptrend here back in 2014, and then 2015 and 16 wasn't a nice period for it. It went down all the way. Now, right now, what is happening to this stock is it's starting a new weekly uptrend. So I told you just now, it's in a daily uptrend, it's in a weekly uptrend. So this stock is good for trading and investing from a daily chart point of view and a weekly chart point of view. So you should be on the lookout for continuation patterns to play and buy the dips. But having said that, you must be aware that there is resistance area around here. Okay, these are resistance area, and of course the former highs here are resistance area. Okay, we haven't reached that yet, but it's good to be aware of this resistance area. Here is also a resistance area, and you can see what the resistance area does to you can see what the resistance area does to the stock when it tries to go up. You go up all the way here, hit the resistance area here, this congestion, a lot of bars here is resistance area, and it went down, and then it went up, hit this area, right? This whole area is resistance area, and then it went down a bit, and then it continued to go up. So far still up, but the congestion area here will not be easy to overcome. It will take time, and from the looks of it, this Dayang will, even if it's an uptrend, it will go up, go down a bit, go up, go down a bit. So it's not going to be a smooth ride. But since it's an uptrend, right, whenever it dips or make continuation pattern, these are very good times for you to buy the stock for a swing trade. So for example, here the stock is above the rising 50 MA, rising 200 MA. It's a box breakout here, right? Box breakout, you buy above the highs and put a stop here, and let me just draw. This is a support area. Alright, I don't see any continuation patterns that I like to play now, but this is a reference area for you. Okay, as long as it stays above this area and above the rising 50 MA, you should be bullish on it. Okay, maybe there is a break a downtrend line play here. Okay, breaking of a downtrend line can be entry points and play depending on what your strategy is lah. I like ascending triangle. Some people like box breakout. Some people like break the downtrend line. So you focus on your pattern, and when it appears, you enter it. So here was a breakdown trend line play. Enter, went up for a few bars. So right now you can see the 200 MA and 50 MA is still rising. So as long as it stays above this 177 area and above the rising 50 MA, continue to be bullish lah. We just treat it as trading sideways, okay, to absorb the supply from the weekly chart. You see this, all this supply, people who bought here lost money. What's gonna happen if the stock goes up, right? When they're losing a few 100,000 and it goes back up here, and then suddenly they only lose 20-30,000. Of course, they will sell and recoup their losses. So this kind of supply and resistance will need time to be absorbed. Let's go to the hourly chart. Okay, hourly chart. Remember the daily downtrend line breakout that I showed you. You can see it clearer when you go to the 60-minute chart. It broke this downtrend line. This is an entry point. Put a stop loss here. Boom, up. Just for a few days, and then time to sell. So overall, Dayang still in daily uptrend. Okay, midterm and long-term bullish. Now let's take a look at Ekovest. Ekovest, Ekovest is a stock that we have a very nasty downtrend here in the weekly chart. Okay, but it broke this weekly downtrend line. Okay, whenever a stock breaks a long-term downtrend line, it tells us that it wants to change trend from downtrend to uptrend. So breaking a downtrend line is an early indication of trend changes. But again, let me just draw to you all the resistance area. I put it in red color so that you can see it more clearly. Red means resistance, and this is a resistance area. A lot of resistance area. Not a very nice stock that I like to play. When the stock has a lot of resistance areas, better don't focus your attention too much on it. You want stocks that have less resistance. Why do you want to waste your time on stock that have a lot of resistance? If there's a situation, a lot of resistance, you're going to take a lot of energy for you to overcome the resistance. And look at what the resistance does to the stock when it tries to go up. It broke this downtrend line, sign of trend change, and it gap up, go all the way here, but resistance hindered it and it continued to drift lower. So this drifting sideways here is actually absorbing the supply here, absorbing the losses of the people here. And right now, this stock is just trading sideways. It's not a very good stock to play for the fact that it is at a have a lot of resistance. Now let's take a look at this is a daily chart. Recently, there's this support area on the chart, and well, it is above the rising. Is above the rising 200 MA. So long-term wise, well, we could say that it's gonna be bullish. We have a bullish outlook. But what you want to look at is this support area. As long as this support area around 0.725 holds, and most likely you will just drift sideways. But not a stock that I would want to play, not a stock that you should play because the uptrend is not so nice. You want to look for stocks that are in a very, very nice uptrend. Let's look at IWCITY. IWCITY also same story like Ekovest. Nice uptrend, top out, drop. Ever since then has been in a downtrend here. Try to start a new uptrend, but things are not looking good for this stock because of resistance here. You can see there's resistance here. Lots of resistance here, and this is the area that needs to be overcome before it can go up higher. You can see it going up here, hit the resistance area, drop, and try to go up, but also drop. So stocks like this that have a lot of resistance area, try not to play it because you're going to be wasting a lot of your time waiting for the stock to absorb. So this stock, it tried to break an uptrend line, a downtrend line, go up, but I don't see there's power in this stock. Okay. The 200 MA was rising, but it dropped below it, and if IWCITY continue to drop below this area, there's a possibility, if it drops below this area, there's a possibility of it going down even more. So it doesn't have that kind of bullish power that I like to see. So not a very good stock in my opinion right now. Okay, now let's look at MasterPack. MasterPack. Where is it? Okay, MasterPack Group. Okay, MasterPack Group is a stock, as you can see, that it is in a very nice uptrend. When a stock is in a nice uptrend, you should be looking for continuation plays, buy the dips. So from here, it was trading above its rising 50 MA most of the time, you can see, and the rising 200 MA. These are the kind of stocks that you want to be looking at. And when you look at the weekly chart, there is no resistance here for a very, very long time. For many years, it was trading sideways, so you don't see resistance or area around here compared to Ekovest and IWCITY, which is why it had a nicer job of going up. So even in the weekly chart, you can see it's trading nicely above the 20 MA, nicely above the 50 MA, and the weekly 200 MA is also slanting up. And you can see some weekly plays here, like weekly bottoming tail set up at support area. And here's a breakdown trend line, doji play in the weekly chart, and here's a bottoming tail weekly play. So whenever a stock is in an uptrend, there are quite a lot of opportunities for you to enter this stock. This is a breakdown trend line play at support area. This is support area, and it's also a breakdown trend line at support area. This is a support area. Breaks a downtrend line, you buy, you put a stop here. And this is a break above downtrend line at the 20 MA gap. From a daily chart point of view, I don't see any setup at this moment. Maybe I will wait for another consolidation or drop to 20 MA or whatever, ascending triangle continuation pattern. But now from a daily chart point of view, no setup for me. Maybe some other people can see a setup. It has kind of, how do you say, a bit overextended, a bit overextended. And for those who entered long time ago, you can still be bullish because it's above the rising 20 MA, 50 MA, 200 MA. Mid-term, it tells me it's going to be bullish. Long-term, it tells me it's going to be bullish. Short-term wise, a bit extended, so you don't want to enter it from a daily chart point of view. But on a 60-minute chart, you might find plays. Here's a large green candle, rest and go play. I showed it to my group some time ago, this pattern. Why it went up. Somebody asked, a member asked me about it. So I said this is a large green candle, rest and go pattern. And then it dropped. Here's a bottoming tail here, maybe an entry here today, which is why it goes up. Now, from a short-term 60-minute point of view, this is the support area to watch. This box, as long as it stays above this box, above the rising 50 MA, you should be bullish short-term. And if you want even to look at it more short-term, is the 60-minute 20 MA. As long as it stays above this 60-minute 20 MA, you should be bullish on it. So 60-minute MA, you also can find some patterns to play, like if it sets up, depending on whether you recognize the pattern or not. Whenever a stock is in an uptrend and daily uptrend, 60-minute uptrend, there are lots of opportunity for you to buy or enter it. You just need to learn the strategies to enter this kind of stock. So overall, this stock is still healthy. If it drops below the 20 MA, right, and it drops below the 50 MA, then only you start to be a bit cautious and bearish on this stock. Okay, I know this analysis is a bit long, but we're gonna look at the last stock today, KNM Group. Now KNM Group right now is not that healthy. It is dropped below the 20 MA and 50 MA, and it's not in a nice uptrend right now. Okay, we can see why. We switch to the daily weekly chart. You can see that there's a lot of resistance here, resistance area here, and there's lots of resistance area here as well. So don't expect this stock to be able to rise that well. You can see what the resistance does. Stock went up here, hit the resistance area, collapse, try to rise again, but this resistance area is very, very strong. So don't think it'll be easy for it to overcome it, but it's still above the rising 200 MA. You still have a bullish case on it in the long term, but it has dropped below this uptrend line and it's a bit weak right now. Not a good time to enter it. And if KNM drops below this area, this is a support area. Support is not a definite price, but an area for you to watch. This is an area of support. Okay. Support area. Now, as long as it stays above this area, I will treat it as trying to absorb the supply, absorb the resistance here. But if it drops below this support area, you have to be quite careful with it, because it might fall even lower. So one not good thing is it drops below the 50 MA. It drops below this uptrend line. Not very good at this moment. So you want to be patient and see if there's any setups that appears. But so far, I don't see any at the moment. So you have to be patient. Okay, be cautious if it drops below this area. So that's all for today. Hope this analysis of the KLCI and different stocks are helpful to you. If it's helpful, do press the like button and subscribe to my channel for future analysis. Now, if you have time, do go to my website. Right, it's www.thestockmarket.com. Inside you have quite a lot of materials for you to help you understand a bit more about how to analyze the stock market. So that's all for today, and I'll see you in the next one.